Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You ever work so hard towards a goal
Mm-hmm.
and then you finally get there
Yeah.
and you're just kind of left with this feeling of, is that it? Like something's still missing?
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're going to be diving into today.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it really is. We've got this text here all about the psychology of why getting to your goals doesn't always equal happiness.
It's so interesting, right? Because, we're kind of conditioned to think that,
Yeah,
okay, if I just achieve X, then, I've made it.
exactly. It's like, that's it. I'll be happy then.
Right, right. But then, so many of us get there, and
Yeah.
it's like, wait, that's it?
Totally. So this text actually talks about something called
Oh,
the arrival fallacy.
uh-huh.
Have you ever experienced that?
I mean, I think we all have in some way or another.
Totally.
It's like this illusion that once we hit that target,
Right.
that promotion, that dream vacation, whatever it is,
Yeah.
we think okay, boom, I'm going to be happy now.
Yeah. I've arrived.
Exactly. But this text points out that it doesn't always work out that way.
No, for sure not.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember way back,
Yeah.
I was saving up for this really fancy camera.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was convinced that once I got it, my photography would be amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
I was still learning.
Right.
I was still making mistakes,
Exactly.
even with the perfect equipment.
Totally. It's like we get so focused on the outcome, on that arrival,
Totally.
that we forget about the process.
Yeah, for sure.
This text gives this example of an author who publishes a best-selling book.
Oh, wow.
Right. Years of work finally gets there.
You'd think they'd be ecstatic.
Exactly. But they actually found that all of that time spent writing,
Yeah.
being in that flow state,
Yeah.
that was way more fulfilling
Interesting.
than the actual achievement itself.
Huh. So it's almost like we're setting ourselves up to be unhappy.
In a way.
If we're always focused on getting to that next goal,
Mm-hmm.
how can we ever appreciate where we are right now?
You're so right. It's like we're chasing this high of achievement,
Totally.
but our brains, they adapt.
Oh, yeah, they do.
That excitement fades,
Uh-huh.
and then we're like, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
And the text actually calls this the pursuit of the next thing.
Oh, what?
Right. So we're on this treadmill.
Always going, never getting anywhere.
Exactly.
It's kind of like when you binge watch
Yeah.
a really good show
Uh-huh.
and then it ends.
You're like, now what?
Exactly. Total emptiness.
And then you just got to find the next one.
Exactly.
The text gives this example of an Olympian who wins a gold medal.
Oh, wow. The ultimate achievement.
Right. But even before they've left the podium,
No way.
they're already thinking about the next competition.
Oh, gosh. So we've got this internal struggle
Yeah.
with the whole arrival fallacy thing. But then there's this external pressure too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's no matter what you achieve,
Yeah.
there's always someone who seems to be doing better.
It's so true.
Ugh, it's the worst. And the text calls this one the social comparison trap.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, right? Haven't we all been there?
Oh, I think we all have.
For sure.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Uh-huh.
We're wired for connection, for belonging.
Yeah.
We want to feel validated, so
Mhm.
we look to others.
And then compare ourselves.
Yeah, and that's where the trouble starts.
Totally. And it's social media just throws gasoline on the fire.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Don't even get me started on social media.
I know, right?
Everyone is showing off their perfect, curated lives.
It's like a highlight reel.
Totally. Makes it so hard to not compare.
And it's not just us regular people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the text gives this example of a CEO
Oh.
who built this company from nothing, right?
Wow.
Millions of dollars, super successful,
Yeah.
but they still find themselves comparing
No way. To who?
to other people getting more recognition, more awards.
Exactly.
It just shows you, even people who seem to have it all,
Yeah.
they still fall into this trap.
So it's less about what we achieve
Right.
and more about how we see our achievements.
Exactly. It's all about perception.
And that's so interesting because it makes me think about this whole thing about your goals needing to align with your meaning and your purpose.
Oh, that's huge.
Right. Because you could achieve something that's
Yeah.
objectively successful,
Mm-hmm.
like a corner office or making tons of money,
For sure.
but still feel totally empty
Empty. Yeah.
because it doesn't resonate with what actually matters to you.
Absolutely. And the text gives this example
Okay.
of this finance person who's killing it in their career, making bank.
Sounds like they've made it.
Right. But they're miserable
Really? Why?
because they have zero passion for their work.
Oh, no.
They're yearning for something more creative.
That's tough.
It is. And it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
Are your goals actually yours?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or are you chasing somebody else's version of success?
Wow. Yeah. I think we all need to sit with that one for a minute.
Seriously.
It's so easy to get caught up
Mm.
in what we think we should be doing
Yeah.
instead of like what actually lights us up inside.
So true. And then, even when you are pursuing goals that feel right,
Yeah.
there's this other sneaky thing that can trip you up.
What's that?
Fear.
Oh, fear of what?
Fear of losing what you've worked so hard for.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's like you get to the top of the mountain,
Uh,
but instead of enjoying the view,
you're terrified of falling off.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
so true.
Mm.
You're like, you finally reach financial stability,
Yeah.
but then you're constantly worried about losing your job.
Or making a bad investment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the text talks about this entrepreneur
Okay.
who built this amazing business, but they're always scared of competitors,
Oh, yeah?
market crashes,
Uh-huh.
anything that could threaten their success.
So their fear is overshadowing their achievement?
Totally.
It's like you trade one kind of stress for another?
It really is.
Yeah.
So we've got like all these factors.
Okay, let's recap.
Yeah.
Arrival fallacy,
Yes.
chasing the next thing,
Yep,
social comparison,
for sure.
neglecting our own needs,
Right.
and the fear of losing it all.
It's a lot.
No wonder achieving a goal doesn't always feel like,
Like a fairy tale ending.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what else does this text say? Like,
Well, thankfully,
Yeah.
it doesn't just leave us with all these like
yeah,
psychological pitfalls.
okay, good.
It gives some good advice on how to
Cope?
cope with these tendencies
Okay.
and cultivate like a deeper sense of fulfillment.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from these cycles?
So the first thing the text suggests
Yeah.
is we rethink our whole definition of success. Like instead of only focusing on those like big splashy achievements,
Mm-mm.
what if we celebrated the small wins along the way?
Okay, I like that.
Like those little moments of growth,
Yeah, for sure.
The tiny triumphs that we usually don't even notice.
So it's less about like reaching the top of Mount Everest
Right.
and more about enjoying the view from each base camp.
Exactly. It's all about savoring the process.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? Like shift our focus that way?
It's about being present,
Yeah.
like actively acknowledging and appreciating those small victories. Like,
Right.
did you finally nail that yoga pose you've been working on?
Oh, yeah.
Or had a breakthrough moment with something you've been struggling to learn?
Right.
Or even just made it through a tough day.
Yeah.
Like, those are the moments where the magic happens.
I love that. It's like we're so focused on the big picture
Mm-hmm.
that we miss all those little diamonds along the way.
Totally. And it makes me think about how we also need to make sure our goals are actually aligned with our own internal compass.
Okay, this is where I get stuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like this whole reconnecting with purpose thing.
Uh-huh.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in real life?
It's a journey,
Totally.
It starts with looking inward.
Okay.
Like, what are your values?
My values.
Yeah, those things you believe in.
Mhm.
What's important to you? Like, what kind of impact do you want to have on the world?
So it's not necessarily about finding one big purpose.
Right.
It's more about like identifying those values that just feel right.
Exactly. And then you can see if your goals are actually moving you towards those values.
So it's like a values check-in for your goals.
I like that.
Yeah. Are they leading you toward the life you want to be living?
And if not,
Then what?
maybe it's time to switch things up.
I feel like that's going to resonate with a lot of people.
I think so too.
Okay, and what about that whole social comparison thing?
Oh, the comparison trap.
Yeah, how do we stop measuring ourselves against everyone else?
It's tough. Right? Tough.
Especially with social media.
Don't even get me started.
I know. But the text says comparison is the thief of joy.
Ugh, it's so true. I remember
Yeah.
scrolling through social media and seeing someone I went to high school with announce this huge promotion, and I felt this pang of envy.
Oh, yeah.
But then I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know their journey.
Yeah.
I don't know their struggles.
exactly. And their definition of success.
Totally different from mine.
You got it. Like the text says, everyone's path is unique.
Totally. It's like we're all playing a different game,
Yeah,
but trying to keep score using the wrong rule book.
love that analogy.
Yeah.
And another thing the text brings up
What's that?
is that we can get so caught up in external success
Mhm.
that we forget about our internal needs.
Yeah. We focus on doing instead of being.
Exactly.
So we might look successful on paper, but
Mm.
inside,
Yeah.
we feel empty. It happens, and the text gives this example
Yeah.
of this entrepreneur built this multi-million-dollar business
Wow.
but they're deeply unhappy.
Really?
Yeah, because they sacrificed their health,
Oh, no.
their relationships, their own joy.
All for their goals.
Yeah, they achieved external success.
But at what cost?
Right. So it's a reminder that true success, it's holistic.
You're right.
It's not just what you achieve out there,
Yeah,
but also who you become along the way.
totally. It's about taking care of your mind and body, too.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another piece of advice from the text.
Okay, what's that?
Balance.
Balance, okay.
It's recognizing that rest is just as important as work.
Okay, this is where I struggle.
I hear that.
I'm such a go person.
Yeah,
Like, slowing down just feels wrong.
it's hard to do.
But, the text is right. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. We got to refill our energy.
So it's not selfish to prioritize rest and self-care.
Not at all.
It's actually essential.
They're everything.
Okay, that's a good reminder. But I'm still kind of stuck on the arrival fallacy.
Uh-huh.
Like, if reaching our goals doesn't make us happy,
Yeah.
what's the point of striving for anything?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
And the text says it's all about shifting our perspective on what it means to arrive.
Okay, so it's not about
Reaching some magical destination of bliss.
where you're just happy forever.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that life is a journey.
Not a destination.
And the beauty is in the process, in the growth.
Okay, I'm starting to see it.
It's not about happily ever after.
It's about creating a life that feels fulfilling every step of the way.
You got it. That's where the real magic happens.
This has been so helpful.
Me too.
I feel like I have a whole new framework for thinking about my goals.
And not just about achievements, but about growth and meaning too.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
not about being perfect. It's about being aligned and authentic.
Absolutely.
This has been such a great conversation.
I agree.
So as we start to wrap things up,
Yeah.
what's one final thought you want to leave our listener with?
I'd say go back to that idea of reframing success.
Oh.
What if we stopped measuring our worth by what we achieve
Uh-huh.
and started defining it by how aligned we feel with our values and purpose?
Living a life that feels authentic.
Exactly. A life that's full of joy and meaning, no matter what.
That's beautiful. And to our listener,
Yes.
I encourage you to think about what success really means to you. What would make you feel truly fulfilled?
Good question.
And what can you do right now
Yeah.
to start moving in that direction?
Love it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fun.
And until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep embracing this wild ride we call life. And you know what else?
What?
This text talks about gratitude.
Oh, gratitude.
Yeah, what if instead of chasing that next goal,
Right.
we just took a second to appreciate what we've already done and be grateful for all the good stuff, big or small.
I love that. And there's actually so much research.
Really?
Yeah, showing that practicing gratitude can literally rewire your brain.
No way.
Yeah, you start focusing on the positive.
Wow.
Less stress, you're happier, even healthier.
It's instead of seeing what's missing, you see all the abundance you already have.
Totally.
But I think a lot of people struggle with gratitude.
Yeah.
It can feel kind of forced.
I get that.
If you're not really feeling it.
Yeah. Any tips from the text?
Yeah, how do you actually make it a genuine practice?
Well, the text suggests making it a daily ritual.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be anything fancy.
Yeah.
Just take a few minutes, morning or night, and write down 3 things you're grateful for.
Okay.
Could be anything. A good cup of coffee,
Yeah.
a chat with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
some peace and quiet.
I like that. Just finding those little moments of joy.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. But what about those bigger questions?
Like what?
How do we connect with our purpose?
Oh, yeah.
How do we know our goals are actually meaningful?
That's where things get really deep.
Okay. Tell me more.
So the text says,
Yeah.
think about your goals not just as endpoints,
Uh-huh.
but as vehicles for growth.
Vehicles for growth. Okay.
Instead of what do I want to achieve,
Yeah.
ask yourself, who do I want to become?
Wow. That's powerful.
Right.
So it's not about checking things off a list.
Not just that, no.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. It's about the journey.
More than the destination.
And that's where you find true fulfillment.
Because it's in the striving and the learning that we grow.
Absolutely.
So it's not about arriving.
Right.
It's about constantly becoming.
I like that. And that takes the pressure off,
Totally. You don't have to have it all figured out.
You can embrace the uncertainty.
A messiness, even the failures.
Pretend they're all part of the journey.
Wow. I'm seeing how all these pieces fit together now. Like reframing success,
Uh-huh.
gratitude, purpose, balance.
It's all connected.
It's not about being perfectly happy.
Right.
It's about creating a life that feels good,
Authentic.
meaningful, even with all the challenges.
That's what this text is all about.
It's not about reaching a destination.
Nope.
It's about practicing fulfillment every day.
Love it.
This has been amazing.
I agree.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective.
Me too. And hopefully our listener does too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts for our listener out there?
I'd say,
Yeah.
remember that success doesn't have to be about those external things.
Like what?
The fancy job title, the big house.
Okay.
What if it was about living a life that's truly aligned with your values?
A life that feels authentic,
And full of joy and connection?
regardless of what you achieve.
It's exactly.
That's a great way to put it. And to our listener,
Yes.
I encourage you to think about what that means for you.
Mm-hmm.
What does a fulfilling life look like to you?
Yeah.
And what can you do today to make it happen?
It's all about taking action.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep living your truth.